In a world that's constantly broadcasting every move, every thought, every intention, there is a rare kind of strength in quiet progress. It's easy to get caught in the noise. It's tempting to announce your goals, explain your journey, and share your plans with everyone. But real power, real focus, and real success are cultivated in silence. While others are busy talking, you stay busy building. While others seek applause, you chase improvement. And when the time comes, when the results are undeniable, your success will speak so loudly that no explanation will be needed. Working in silence doesn't mean working in secrecy. It means working without the need for validation. It means trusting yourself enough to walk your path without broadcasting every step. It means turning down the volume of the world and turning up the volume of discipline, consistency, and personal excellence. The most successful people didn't make noise when they started. They made progress. They didn't need to prove anything in the beginning because they were too busy proving everything to themselves. Silence is more than the absence of noise. It's a powerful force that sharpens your ability to concentrate. In today's fast-moving world, where distractions are constant and information is endless, silence becomes a rare advantage. When you work in silence, you free yourself from the external voices that pull your attention away from your purpose. You don't just hear less, you think more clearly. You create a mental environment that is uncluttered, focused, and aligned with your vision. It's in that quiet that you can truly hear your own thoughts and stay rooted in your priorities. One of the greatest enemies of progress is scattered attention. Every notification, every update, every conversation that doesn't serve your mission is a small leak in your energy. These distractions may seem harmless in the moment, but over time, they rob you of momentum. Silence helps you seal those leaks. It provides the space for deep work, the kind of work that requires your full mental presence. In silence, you're not bouncing from idea to idea or chasing after the next distraction. You're anchored in the task at hand, able to go deeper and stay longer. That depth is where mastery is built. Focus is not just about time, it's about intensity. 10 minutes of silent, undistracted focus can accomplish more than an hour of half-hearted effort. When you work in silence, you give your mind the chance to operate at its highest level. Creativity flows more freely. Problem-solving becomes clearer. Priorities arrange themselves in your mind. It's as though your brain breathes better in silence. You start to find the rhythm of your work, and that rhythm turns into flow, a powerful state where your best output is created without force or friction. Silence also creates mental discipline. In silence, there's no audience to impress, no applause to chase, and no spotlight to stand under. There's only the work, raw, unfiltered, and yours to complete. That kind of solitude builds inner strength. You learn to depend on your own standards instead of outside validation. You push forward not because someone is watching, but because you said you would. This self-reliance trains your focus. It teaches you to stay with the process, even when results are not immediate, and to trust that every silent effort is leading to visible success. In silence, you also reduce mental clutter. The world is full of noise, not just literal sound, but opinions, comparisons, and expectations that can crowd your thinking. When you embrace silence, you give yourself permission to think for yourself. You're no longer influenced by what everyone else is doing or saying. You develop clarity about what matters to you, and that clarity becomes a filter. You no longer waste time chasing distractions disguised as opportunities. Instead, you stay locked in on your true path, undeterred by noise or novelty. Silence, in this sense, becomes your competitive edge. While others are distracted by the need to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, you are investing your energy where it counts, in focus, in action, in execution. You're not working to look busy, you're working to be effective. And that effectiveness, built in silence, will eventually speak so loudly through your results that no explanation will be necessary. The strength of your focus will show in the strength of your outcome. There's a natural temptation to announce your goals to the world. It feels good to share what you're planning, to let others know what you're working on. But the danger in chasing attention too early is that it can rob you of the very energy you need to execute. Progress happens in the doing, not in the talking. Publicity might bring a brief sense of recognition, but it rarely brings results. That's because success is built quietly, through small steps that don't look impressive on the surface, but add up to massive achievement over time. When you talk more about your goals than you act on them, you create a false sense of accomplishment. It's easy to feel like you're moving forward just because people know what you intend to do. But intention is not the same as execution. Speaking about a goal can trick the brain into feeling like progress has already been made. The mind experiences the satisfaction of attention, and the urgency to act begins to fade. Over time, that cycle can lead to a pattern of starting fast, talking big, but finishing slow, if at all. Progress, on the other hand, is quiet. It's built behind the scenes in the early mornings, the late nights, and the moments no one sees. It doesn't demand attention because it doesn't need it. Those who are truly committed to their goals understand that publicity can wait, but progress cannot. Every moment spent trying to look successful is a moment taken away from actually becoming successful. The world doesn't reward the loudest voices, it rewards the strongest outcomes, and strong outcomes are built through consistent, focused effort. Working in silence allows you to concentrate fully on the process. You're not distracted by likes, comments, or applause. You're not caught up in trying to convince others of your potential. You're too busy proving it to yourself. This is where true personal power develops. When your progress becomes your private victory, every small milestone you hit, every habit you strengthen, every obstacle you overcome in silence, builds an internal fire that no external validation can replace. That fire becomes your edge. Let others talk. Let them share. Let them seek the spotlight while you sharpen your craft. Because when you finally emerge, it won't be with promises or plans. It will be with results. And results always command more respect than promises ever could. The people who achieve the most are often the ones who say the least while they're in motion. They don't waste time justifying their ambition. They let the outcome do all the talking when the time is right. So while the world is busy chasing attention, stay busy chasing growth. Focus on the daily wins, the process, repetition. These are the quiet bricks that build unshakable success. Publicity might make noise, but progress builds legacies. And when you choose progress over publicity, you trade short-term attention for long-term greatness. Discipline is forged in private, long before the world ever sees the results. It doesn't develop in the spotlight, under applause, or through public praise. It's born in the quiet hours, early in the morning when the alarm goes off and no one is watching, late at night when you're tempted to quit but decide to stay the course. Discipline grows in the dark, in those lonely spaces where there's no audience, just you and the decision to keep going. It's the habit of choosing responsibility over comfort, consistency over chaos, and long-term gain over instant gratification. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think it's something you either have or you don't. But discipline is not a talent, it's a habit. And like all habits, it's strengthened by repetition. Every time you choose to act, even when you don't feel like it, you're laying down another layer of mental toughness. You're building a quiet momentum that no one sees, but that changes everything. That's why the dark is so valuable. It removes distractions and helps you focus on the fundamentals, the routines, the repetitions that create mastery. The most successful individuals in any field didn't get there by doing what was easy or convenient. They trained themselves to do what needed to be done, especially when no one was watching. That's where discipline gets its power. It's in the days you don't feel motivated. It's in the moments when no one will know if you skip the work and you do it anyway. That silent decision, that invisible commitment, is what separates those who merely start from those who ultimately finish. You see, the world rewards outcomes, but those outcomes are made possible by the hidden process. The hours of practice, the disciplined routines, the choice to read, to write, to build, to learn over and over without praise. This is the dark room where greatness is developed. Just like a photo is developed in darkness before it's ready to be revealed, so is your discipline. It's what prepares you for the moment when the light finally shines on your results. In that darkness, you also learn to trust yourself. You begin to understand your own limits and how to push beyond them. You stop looking for outside permission or external motivation and start building an inner engine that drives you forward. This is where confidence comes from, not from cheering crowds or flashy recognition, but from knowing deep down that you've done the work, that no matter what comes, you've built the foundation strong enough to endure. So while others wait for the perfect time, the perfect mood, or the perfect audience, you keep working, you keep refining your craft in the silence, strengthening your resolve when no one's paying attention. Because discipline isn't about being noticed, it's about becoming unshakable. And that kind of strength can only be developed in the dark, where every decision counts and every unseen action shapes the person you're becoming. Confidence is not something you stumble upon, it's something you earn through action. It doesn't come from being seen, heard, or liked, it comes from doing. When you execute consistently, even in silence, you begin to build a quiet trust in yourself that no external praise can replicate. That trust turns into confidence. You know you can follow through because you've proven it again and again. The repetition of execution, the discipline of doing the work without needing an audience, plants the seeds of unshakable belief in yourself. Exposure, on the other hand, is deceptive. It can create the illusion of progress. When you share your goals, when people applaud your intentions, it feels like momentum. But that momentum is fragile because it's based on perception, not performance. True confidence isn't built on how others see you. It's built on how you see yourself after you've done the work, faced the resistance, and kept going anyway. Confidence grounded in execution is solid. It endures criticism. It survives setbacks. It grows even when no one is cheering. Every time you act on your goals, no matter how small the step, you're reinforcing your belief in your own ability. You're collecting proof. Proof that you're capable. Proof that you can be disciplined. Proof that you can overcome distraction. That internal ledger of effort is what fuels real confidence. It doesn't matter if anyone sees it. You see it, you feel it. And that's what makes the difference between empty bravado and authentic strength. The most powerful people are the ones who quietly believe in themselves because they've earned that belief through action. Confidence built on execution also creates resilience. When things go wrong, and they will, you don't fall apart because you know how to keep moving forward. You've trained for difficulty. You've practiced perseverance. You don't rely on external validation to keep going, so you're not shaken when it disappears. That's the kind of strength that makes success inevitable. Not because the path is easy, but because you've become the kind of person who keeps showing up no matter what. It's easy to look confident on the outside. It's much harder to feel confident on the inside if your actions aren't backing up your image. And that's where many people go wrong. They focus on projecting confidence instead of building it. They chase likes and followers instead of discipline and results. But when the pressure comes, projection crumbles. Execution, on the other hand, holds firm because you've done the work. You've shown up in silence. You've developed a track record with yourself that no amount of exposure can compete with. So don't worry about looking the part. Focus on playing the part. Show up. Do the work. Hold yourself to a higher standard when no one else is watching. That's how real confidence is created, not through what the world sees, but through what you know in your heart, that you are prepared, you are capable, and you are built on a foundation of disciplined execution. When you produce results, you never have to explain yourself. Results are the purest form of proof. They are undeniable, unarguable, and unmistakable. You can talk about your intentions all day long, but the world pays attention when you show outcomes. When you commit to producing results instead of promoting your process, you build credibility that speaks louder than any speech, louder than any post, louder than any promise. People might ignore your plans, but they will never ignore your performance. The greatest achievers don't spend their time convincing others what they're going to do. They simply do it. And when the result arrives, it carries a weight that no amount of hype can match. That's because results are earned. They reflect effort, persistence, discipline, and execution. They cannot be faked, borrowed, or outsourced. They are the direct reflection of your habits and your priorities. And when your results align with your values, they become your most powerful voice. This approach also protects you from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval. When you're focused on results, you're not working to impress anyone. You're working to improve everything. You're not caught in the trap of managing perception. You're building. The people who try to look successful before they are successful often burn out because they're pouring energy into maintaining an image instead of creating impact. When you flip that and focus on delivering real value, you conserve energy and multiply your momentum. Letting your results speak for you also builds lasting influence. People remember those who follow through. They trust those who deliver. It doesn't matter how quietly you work. If your results are strong, they will echo loudly. Success doesn't need a megaphone. It attracts attention by nature. And when your name becomes associated with consistency, quality, and achievement, you no longer have to raise your voice. The doors open on their own, and the recognition comes without you having to chase it. This is why silence and action go hand in hand. While others are broadcasting their intentions, you're building a track record. While others are explaining their goals, you're achieving them. Your work speaks in every completed project, in every transformed result, in every breakthrough moment. And the more you lean into the work, the more your results speak for you, clearly, confidently, and without need for clarification. You don't need to argue with critics or compete for attention. Just stay focused on your mission. Keep refining your craft. Keep executing when no one's looking. Because eventually what you've built will be too powerful to ignore. And at that point, you won't need to say a word. Your results will do all the talking, and the world will listen. True greatness isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention, and it doesn't need to boast. The most impactful people in the world are often the most humble, not because they think less of themselves, but because they're too focused on the mission to waste energy on ego. Humility keeps your head down when pride wants to lift it. It grounds you when recognition tries to sweep you off your path. And more importantly, it helps you stay hungry. When you remain humble, you continue to grow, evolve, and improve long after others have settled. Humility isn't weakness. It's strength under control. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your value without needing to prove it. When you work in silence, driven by vision and guided by principles, you don't need to announce every win or correct every misunderstanding. You let your life Your character and your consistency speak for themselves. Humility invites longevity. While arrogance may get you to the spotlight quicker, humility keeps you there longer because it's rooted in service, not self-promotion. People remember how you made them feel more than what you accomplished. Humility allows you to lift others even as you rise. It reminds you that success is not a solo pursuit. No one builds a legacy alone. And those who build with humility create a culture around them, a culture of respect, growth, and shared victory. Your silence, your focus, your discipline, they all become part of the story others tell long after you're gone. That's how legacy is formed. Not in the noise of self-celebration, but in the quiet impact you leave behind. Humility also protects your mindset. The moment you start believing your own hype, you stop listening. You stop learning. You stop pushing yourself to be better. But when you stay humble, you remain open to feedback, hungry for knowledge, and committed to excellence. You understand that no matter how much you've done, there's still more to do. That mindset keeps your progress alive and your perspective sharp. It ensures that success never becomes a ceiling, but a stepping stone to the next level of growth. Working in silence, with humility, also shields you from the emotional roller coaster of public opinion. You don't rise and fall based on praise or criticism. You stay balanced. You stay focused. You measure yourself not by applause, but by alignment with your values, your goals, and your purpose. This is the mark of a true professional. The ability to stay steady under pressure, grounded in humility, and unwavering in pursuit. That calm, focused energy builds trust, and trust is the currency of lasting influence. In the end, humility isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. It helps you stay in the game longer, build stronger relationships, and create work that stands the test of time. While others chase attention, you chase alignment. While others seek validation, you seek mastery. And while others build reputations, you build a legacy. Quietly, consistently, humbly. So here's the truth. You don't need to shout your potential from the rooftop. You don't need to post every step, explain every move, or wait for permission to begin. You simply need to commit to the work. Quietly, steadily, relentlessly. Because when you dedicate yourself to progress over praise, to discipline over display, and to excellence over ego, success becomes inevitable. Let the world wonder what you're building. Let them guess why you're so focused, why you've gone quiet, why you're no longer seeking validation. And then, one day, let your results walk in, loud, undeniable, and undeniable proof of your commitment. That's the kind of noise worth making. So go ahead, work in silence, sharpen your skill, strengthen your mindset, and shape your future, far from the spotlight. Because when your moment comes, you won't need to introduce yourself. Your success will speak so loudly, the world won't be able to ignore it.